how are you doing today? Today I am excited to bring you news that the CPS Primer tool bracket I created is now available in a multi-mount version, which can be mounted on a dedicated inline fabrication plate, on a regular wooden bench, or on whatever existing plate you are using for your CPS Primer tool. This has taken me quite a while due to the patent rights and configuration time and finding the materials I needed. So now there is a way for everybody to use this bracket, no matter how you want to mount it. Now, if you want to settle for having to sort your brass by primer seating depth after priming, or want to settle for different primer seating depths of up to plus or minus 0.02 of an inch, then this is not for you. However, if you want to stop sorting your brass by primer seating depth and keep them within plus or minus to 0.010 of an inch, this is definitely for you. Here is what will come in your kit when you get it for the CPS Primer Bracket. Two things that won't come is you're going to need a small pair of pliers or channel locks and a 7/16 inch box wrench. This will help you much. So you'll get your plate. You'll get 2 pieces of 1/4 inch by 20 by 12 inch threaded rod. You'll get your crossbar. You'll get 2 star washers, 3 flat washers, 1/4 inch, 5 1/4 inch nylock lock nuts, 2 of these protective red caps, and 1 of the 1/4 20 thumb wheels. The first thing I just found out, which makes it much easier of mounting anything on an inline fab plate, is one of these. This is made by Inline Fab. It's called their single storage dock for quick change top plates. See, if you're trying to do this on your inline fab, put the plate on, take this apart to put the plate in between, you can't get to the bolts underneath now. So that's why it's good to have that little dock thing. But as you can see, it makes a perfect holder. So the bolts it comes with is a 3/16 inch Allen key and a 1/2 inch open face wrench. Works perfect. Now you can get underneath to unscrew these. Now if you look at the bolts that this comes with, they still have enough thread on them to get this 1/4 inch plate in between. First we're going to get our CPS mounted in this docking plate, okay? Then we're going to take the screws out. This is why this docking plate is so easy. I got this one halfway out already from what I showed you last time. These nylock nuts lock down really good. Okay, nut, washer, and bolt set aside. You're going to take your plate and you want these 2 holes, the 3/8 holes, facing that way. Line them up over these 2 3/8 inch holes. Take your CPS primer and place it over those 2 holes. Place your nut and your washer. Do the same thing on both sides. Then snug them down. Okay. Now we've got our plate mounted. Now, I'm going to transfer this over to my inline fabrication now, so hang on while I reset up. Alright, now I've got this mounted on here, and what I use with my inline fabrication, you know it came with those little plastic wing nuts. I don't use those. I use 1/4 20 threaded rod couplings. I find them to work much better. So I just thread them on, and on the side of my stand, I've got a little 3/8 inch wrench, box wrench, and I snug them down. These are much better than them plastic things. Now, so the first thing you want to do is take one of your 1/4 20 nylock nuts and thread it onto the threaded rod. But what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to thread it on to get some threads into the nylock part. So that is why I have these pair of pliers. This is not going to hurt anything because down here we're not threading anything. So we just want to thread it on far enough till it gets some threads in the nylon part, and then back it off. Alright, now what we want to do is we want to spin it on from the bottom up. It's a little tedious to get it started. But get it threaded up a little more than 1/4 inch. Then you're going to take one of your star washers, hope you can see that, and put it over this 1/4 inch threaded hole. Then you're going to take your threaded rod and thread it in till it bottoms out, okay? So that means it's all the way through the plate and touching the top of the inline fab plate. Now again, you want to grab your pliers and hold on to this and tighten this nut down. Alright, that's on there and that's never going anywhere. Now you do the same on the back one. There's another 1/4 20 hole back here. You can't see it from there, but I'm going to do the same thing. Alright, those are both on there. Now what's great about this is the flex, because you're going to need this flex. So next, we want to take another 1/4 20 nylock and go down the back one. Now this is the only bad part about this, especially since this new rod is 12 inches long. It doesn't need to be 12 inches long. I'm giving you a 12-inch rod. You can cut it down to where you want. I believe the ones on mine I cut down to like 8 inches or something. But I'm going to start by threading this baby down a long way. See, it's good it does flex because I can pull the other one back out of the way. Let me take a look at my old one. See how far down I gotta go. Shit, I gotta go another 3 inches. But once they're on there, and you're sure that you're not going to put any bigger or taller bullet in your thing, you can cut the tops off. Again, you can use regular 1/4 20 threaded nuts and lock washers if you want. Yeah, it only takes about 5 minutes, but come on, 5 minutes of your life isn't gonna drop you where you stand. Alright, you see my 2/4 20 threads. I mean, lock nuts in there. Now you take your crossbar, take 2 of the flat washers, Put them on there. What this does is gives it a better base here. Then take your crossbar. As you can see, I kind of put a little bend on these and slide it down. Now you're going to take your third 1/4-20 flat washer and put it on the back one, thread on your nylock nut, and start spinning it down. Now this is one of the main reasons I use these nylock nuts, is because you do not want this shifting positions. Just so you know, that's how it goes on. I don't need to thread it down all the way now. Then you're going to take your 1/4-inch thumb wheel, okay, and spin it down this front one. I know it looks flimsy now, that's because there's no tension on it. Okay, if you have watched any of my videos, I will show you how you use this, but I'm going to give you a little short brief right now on how you adjust this. So you're going to need a piece of brass. I'll just use a piece of fired brass here. And you're going to need a gauge pin. This gauge pin has to be 1/1000th smaller than your finished neck ID after sizing. This is done after sizing. So this is going in here real easy because this is fired brass, but this is good enough to show you. So this gauge pin has to be 1/1000th of an inch smaller than your sized neck ID. And you slide that in there. Now you see how far we gotta go now with this bullet. Well, here's a brain fart here. I just realized I had another 7/16 inch in this shorter version, which does not go through there. Yes, it does. If you angle it up. If you keep this in here, what you're trying to do is get this washer to the top of this gauge pin. It looks like we're pretty close. So now, I'm going to lower this other one. Okay, so now we're getting down pretty close. What you're going to want to do here now is lower this until it just touches the top of your gauge pin. So you'll have to adjust both sides. This side I don't even really use anymore, but it just helps you get it leveled out. So keep pushing down on it. All right, we can loosen it. Go down a little farther on this back one. And then hold down on it and tighten this nut back up until it just snugs. Then you have to take this top one and back it down all the way. Okay, I've got this one just about, this little wrench works good. You can get in between here. So what you want to do is just level this out the best you can. You know, you can use an eye. It's good enough. All right, now I'm going to tighten the top one and jam these two together. Okay, that's tight. Now you see we got room to lift up here. Now this one, like I say, I don't even use it anymore. So you take your thumb nut. Now this is how you do this. Very simple. You lift up on the front, put your shell in, put it back down, spin the nut, boom. You are locked in. That shell is not going anywhere. I should back this one down a little more. And there you go. That's how you use it. Then when you're done seating your primer, spin this open, pull it out. Get your next one ready. Slide it in, make sure it's all the way back in there. Push down, tighten your nut. Bada bing, bada bang. Loosen your nut, pull up, lift it out. Get your next one ready, put your pin in it, lift up, slide it in, push down with your finger, tighten your lock nut. Bada bing, prime. Out, in. Very simple. All right, this part is for the guys who are going to be mounting to a bench. Now, if you have a CPS primer or not, and you're getting one, but you don't want to mount it or you don't have the inline fabrication plate, it doesn't matter. So if you have one mounted, you should already have holes in your bench. You would dismount it, put your CPS over the holes, and remount it. And then you'll have to follow up on the instructions I have for how to assemble the rods and everything that was in the previous part of this. But that's as easy as it is if you're putting it on a bench. Either way, this plate makes it possible to mount it on inline fabrication plate or on a plain old bench, or even if you have some kind of plate on your bench or whatever. You just may need to get longer bolts than what you have now, because I don't know how long your bolts are. So that's the simple solution there.